All right, we're at the office. We got all this banded gear in for Canada. Got all these new boots. They got the new Black Label Elite Series. Check those suckers out. Those are legit. We're at the office today. We're about to film a podcast. We got Ruck coming, and we got Blaine, old Blaine Zone. So they're about to walk in the office. We're going to hook them up with all their gear, and then we're going to go knock out podcast episode 3.
What up, bro?
BZ Nation.
Podcast.
On sway.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, the goods. Golly, boy, Bandit hooked it up.
So you got gloves,
Socks,
neck gaiter, merino wool
underlayer.
bases,
Yep.
jacket.
3-in-1 jacket.
Bibs.
Got the bibs, bag to go in, and some boots. Dang, they hooked it up though. They
Your
Bandit
stuff's over here, Blaine.
Bandit set us up. They hooked us up the first year we went pretty
Oh,
solid.
yeah.
So Bandit's always been good to us.
Gloves,
Yeah, that boy.
socks. Yeah, extra small jacket.
Easy. Easy.
Oh boy, we got
No, it's
Christmas morning out here, baby.
Christmas
Every
in
time.
September.
Love it.
Love it.
Ready to go knock out a podcast?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
One and two to King. Strike three on the in. See what he comes back with here on the 2-2. Perfectly done.
Up to the left side, Alvarius comes over right at the railing. Roll! And makes a great catch! He ended up in the first row! Alvarius ends the game with the defensive jam of the afternoon.
German UTech, bud.
All right, here we are, K-Zone Podcast, episode 3. Crammed in the office. Got the whole crew here.
Already cutting up.
Got Slick Wilson, director of photography, Nate, and the newest guest, BZ Nation, Blaine Knight. Roll the tape.
Roll
the tape.
Here we go.
It's Blaine Knight, undefeated on the season. The junior from down in Bryan, Arkansas is 7-0 with a 2.77 ERA.
Beat some good ones now. Brady Singer, Casey Mize, Ryan Rollison. Blaine Knight has beat them all head-to-head this year.
Knight wins the first battle as Clemens strikes out. And a 1-2-3 inning for Blaine Knight.
Oh boy. That's how we draw it out right there.
Let me see it.
There should be.
Hey, poke it
Now
in.
you gotta kiss her on the mouth.
In the mouth. No, yeah, you gotta kiss.
You gotta kiss it.
You got a French kiss? No.
Oh my gosh, she pansy.
You mean a French kiss the goose?
You should have put a cheese pleaser in one of the shells.
Oh, he really did.
But yeah, this is episode 3. We're doing a talking some baseball with Blaine, talking about Canada, and
2 weeks to the day.
2 weeks to the day. Just kind of bringing it in. The floor is yours, Nate. Take it away.
Mine? Why is it mine? Shoot, I think we need to start this off with just Blaine giving us just a solid introduction on himself. Give us the whole background of a boy from Saline County that made his way to Northwest Arkansas, set some records, and then where you're at now. Come on.
Well, well, I guess I've known y'all for what? Going on
Probably getting close to
10 years now. I mean, I didn't play as much with you. I did play with you a lot growing up.
My first recollection of Blaine was in summer ball. I don't even know. It had to have been after my sophomore year of high school and your freshman year, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
And I think we were somewhere in Oklahoma and we were getting our asses beat. And Blaine and his friend Ty Harris were in the dugout just bickering back and forth. And I just turned around, looked down, and said, "Shut the hell up." They were driving us crazy. They were losing. Then I think either Blaine or Ty looked at me and said, "Yes, sir." And then
That was Ty.
Yeah. And then, that was my first recollection. Blaine, as great of a baseball player he was, or is, back then was like a lanky second baseman that couldn't really do much of anything.
I mean, not much has changed. He just figured out how to throw the ball real hard from 60 feet, 6 inches.
And then I just remember I go home, and then I remember coming back to the next summer. They're telling me that this Blaine Knight kid committed to Arkansas. I was like, what? Blaine Knight committed to Arkansas? What? They're like, yeah, he's pitching. I was like, pitching? What the hell's going on? They're like, yeah, he's throwing like 92 now. It's like, well, Jesus Christ. Well, they did just a complete 360 from what I remembered Blaine, and then ever since then it was to the moon for BZ Nation.
Yeah, we
But-
kind of hung up infield and hitting that
Yeah,
summer.
well, I think it was a good call. It was probably a good choice. You had a lot of success, but
It's been fun. It's been good. Like I said, I missed my time at Arkansas, obviously. I mean, getting to play with y'all. Didn't get to play with you as much. Did a
Well,
little
I was
summer
out of
ball
there.
back in the day, but,
Yep.
I mean, obviously, the good days are past me now, unfortunately.
it's all good.
But, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to Canada. I've had a good year off being a free agent, so I'm looking forward to Canada and getting back out and getting ready to grind again.
Yep. So you were born and raised in Bryant.
Yep.
And
Go Hornets.
Go Hornets.
The Hornets, man.
Played at Bryant High School the whole time, or where
Yeah,
else?
it was Brown High School the whole time.
All 6 years.
That's what it felt like.
Blaine invented the red shirt program in Arkansas for high schoolers.
I did.
Blaine's Bryant team was probably the best high school baseball team in the state of Arkansas ever. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, for those
Just talent-wise?
those 4 years I was there, it was. I mean, we were in the state finals every year.
Yeah, and then y'all had like 6 Arkansas commits total on that team.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good team. I would still say our best team was probably my junior year. Was probably our best team. Senior year was good, but our best team by far. I mean, that's when we had Ezel. I mean,
You have Peter,
Evan.
who?
Ely.
Yeah, Evan was there. Peter.
Y'all had 3 guys go on. 3 guys play pro ball out of that team? You, Evan, and Ezel?
Me, Evan, Ezel, Logan Allen.
Yeah, and that's off of a high school team in Arkansas.
A high school team.
Yeah.
That's not even talking about Zach Jack, who was an Arkansas commit, played with me at A-State, but
Yeah, he definitely
JUCO
could have.
All-American,
He definitely could have for sure.
big-time baller. I mean, yeah, y'all. I remember we played y'all in a midweek, and we had to throw like a sophomore, obviously because it wasn't a conference game for us. And then they're rolling out like Evan Lee pumping like 88 in the middle of the week, and that's like the hardest you're going to face in 5A probably that year.
Oh, yeah.
And it just wasn't much fun. But
I don't think anybody ever had any
yeah,
fun playing.
and then you got to Arkansas, and you're a pretty big recruit, I would say. And you pitched a lot your freshman year.
Yeah, I was at the bottom end of that recruiting class. I mean, I had Campbell ahead of me. Ty Harris was ahead of me. Murphy was ahead of me. I mean, Scroggins, like that. I mean, I was at the more of the bottom end of that recruiting class.
year
in
was
16,
that?
2016.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What who all offered you out of high school besides Arkansas?
Arkansas, Mississippi State, UCA, obviously Euler, A-State, Ole Miss. I mean, I had a handful of SEC offers. It came down between Ole Miss and Arkansas, and obviously I was going to stay at home. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't going to go down there to Ole Miss.
No.
There's a lot of other SEC schools you can go to, but Ole Miss, there's just
Ole
like,
Miss is the number 1 hated school in the country,
tough.
especially if you're someone from Arkansas.
Well, so
Oh,
the
yeah.
funny thing is about Ole Miss is that I didn't know this. I think I may have told you this story. So
I mean, I know where this is going.
Rachel's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Rachel started dating in 2016, and I didn't realize it until who her uncle was until I met him in person and realized I told him no, that I wasn't coming to Ole Miss, and that's always been a very
Long story
interesting
short,
thing.
Blaine's wife's uncle is the pitching coach at Ole Miss
Yes,
and recruiting coordinator.
yeah, recruiting coordinator Carl Lafferty.
And recruited you to Ole Miss, and you shut him down, and then
Started dating his niece.
started dating his niece.
Hey, you still got in the family though, so you did something right.
Yeah.
I'm still here, so
Oh, well, she went to the Hogs too, so there's got to
Yeah.
be a little bit of, family competitiveness going on.
yeah, I guess hers is on the softball end. Carl doesn't care as much on the softball end. It's just more baseball end that he gets a little fired up about, but
Kind
it's
of a
all right.
double slap in the face.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
it
Carl.
always got him real good every time I threw against him, and he was
'Cause
like,
I remember we played them a couple times down there, and like the whole family would come out and watch. I think we beat them.
"Yep,
I think we won both series, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so." Yeah,
Maybe won one, lost one.
I think we won both series down there. We lost the one in Fayetteville to him
Yeah, that's right.
in 17.
I mean, as far as college stuff goes, did you have is there anything you wish you'd have done different Like, would you have gone somewhere else if you had an opportunity, or if there was like, if you were drafted out of high school, like at a certain round, would you have going to Arkansas? First off, were you drafted out of high school, or were you
No, talked a lot to the Toronto Blue Jays out of high school, but it was kind of the same thing with Arkansas. Like, my size is what got everybody. I mean, you understand, out of high school, I was 150 pounds soaking wet. Like, I was not a very big guy at all.
Now
so
you're up to 155.
158. Chill.
I was thinking the same.
Somebody get this man a cheeseburger, a couple large pieces.
I mean, I don't know about Nate, but 3 of us sitting at this table got hammered for our weight.
Oh, we all did.
yeah.
But that's what we kind of touched on last time.
I don't know if you ever got told to gain weight
I
or
was
not.
stout. I was
You've always been a little thick.
I was
big
like
guy.
my freshman and sophomore year of college, I was probably like 205, and then my junior senior year I got up to like 215.
Just that JUCO steroid program.
No, I just knew how to eat a lot. So I mean,
yeah.
I would just eat till
You
I
bet
about
on black,
threw
you
up
get a
and-
glizzy, you refill the beer, and you go back to the table. That's the diet. That's the JUCO diet.
I honestly wish, because back then it's like the whole thing is like gain weight. But like my comfortable weight's like 200, 205, and then I'd get to like 215. I'd just feel just like full all the time and like
Sluggish.
not like mobile. But like I wish I would have like played around like 195 to 205. Probably would have been moved a little bit better.
Ran
But
the bases a little
I think
quicker.
that's one thing that's like not really talked about that much. Everybody's either like you got to put on weight or like you got to lose
Yeah.
some weight, but nobody ever really asks like what weight do you feel good at? Like,
Yeah.
because like you said, you can get too low or you can get too much to where you're like, dude, I don't even feel like myself.
Whenever I got done playing and then I dropped down, I remember like within a year or 2 years, I was down to like 195, and I was like, dude, I feel so good. I feel like I can move around. Like, I wonder what I could have been like because I literally like 215 is like heavy for me. Like, I'm not tall or anything. Like, did the audio just cut out, or was that the air conditioning?
I think it was air conditioner.
And yeah, so I wish I would have done that, but
Like, for example, like if you go, because you're pitching, you're like just whippy.
Yeah.
Like your velocity comes from the whip. You put on 20 or 30 pounds, you may not have the whip anymore.
No, for sure. I mean, that's
I
something
mean, there's a
now.
point where you can put on too much.
yeah.
Like, I know when I was at Baltimore, like, they always wanted me to put on, like, 10 pounds because, like, that would have never really affected me. But, like, my mobility and, like, how whippy I am is what gives me velocity. And so if I put on too much or I get too bulky, I'm
your
going
flexibility,
to
too.
lose flexibility. I'm going to lose everything. So then it's going to be, instead of throwing an easy 95, it's going to be a labored 95. And when you labor through delivery, injury starts to pop up.
Thing
Well, yeah,
is,
then
though,
you can't go as long
Yeah.
either.
Mm.
If
Hate that for
you
you.
gain some weight. Yeah, no, I hate that. I hate that. Well, that's a bad problem to have. Like, you gain some weight, though, and you're sustainable. You can go longer in a season. You're a little more durable. But then there's a point where you put on too much, and it's like you're literally not getting the most out of your body.
Yeah, I think now you're seeing more of it turn to, like, they're not looking at weight as much as they are just, like, maintaining strength through the year.
I think it's more performance based now. Like all the whatever stats and stuff that you like, everything you do is under a microscope.
It's all
And I think-
analytics.
Yeah, I think now
it's analytic
they
driven
more
everything.
shoot for like what weight they want you to be at to where they think you're going to perform the best at like, hey, somewhere around here versus just like, hey, you got to put weight on. You're like, what am I going for? How much am I trying to put on? If I do too much, like you said,
Yeah,
like I'm not helping
for
myself
me,
there
it was
either.
like whenever, and this was from just like junior college, because whenever you play a junior college season, you play double headers, and the only thing they bring you is like a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter for 50 dudes.
That's freaking
So,
short season.
like, I knew that I was going to lose 15 pounds during the season because you're literally going 8 hours on 3 days a week without eating, or like you're eating a freaking cutie or an orange or something in the dugout, and that's your breakfast and lunch. So
Watching bagels.
I mean, my thing was before the
Them
season.
bagels will get you booted before the game.
Yeah, they will.
Get them out of here.
Before the season, I always wanted to put on a bunch of weight because I knew I was going to lose some weight throughout the season. Just because, like, obviously you're just kind of all over the place. You're not eating like on a schedule and stuff. So that was like always my mindset behind it. But I mean, some people. I know you kind of struggled to put on weight for a long time.
I mean,
And until you were 23, I feel like you
I'm telling you,
struggled
my
to keep
freshman
weight.
year, like we ran so much.
Dude, we ran a
until
ton.
until Coach
Yeah.
Johnson got there. Like Like, I love Coach Jordan. He's just like a hard-nosed grunt coach, like old-school baseball coach.
yeah.
But we just ran so much.
Well, dude, heck, on
And we had-
Mondays we'd run long course. On Wednesdays we'd have 6-minute mile. Thursdays would be short course, get us ready for the
Dude.
weekend.
Like, with the exception of, like, Taccolini or a couple other guys.
Yeah, but he
yeah.
came in just a tank, though.
That's what with the exception of
Yeah.
those guys, like, our staff needed to put on weight.
No, for sure.
And we'd run 6-minute miles once a week. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
We'd run a medium course, a short course, and a long,
Long
course.
course.
And I think the long course was like 3 miles and 2.5 miles.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was from Baum all the way down that
Service road,
that service road all the way down MLK and back.
Chick-fil-A and back.
Yeah.
And you get in really good shape, but like you said, you can't when you're burning 5,000 calories in an 8-hour workout and doing all this and running, like, you got to eat 2 to 3 times that to put any weight on, and then you're like, dude, I can't eat that much.
I never understood the whole running thing, because it's like, if you're gonna do something and spend time on something, what, like, is that gonna benefit you playing baseball? Like, running miles on end is not gonna benefit you, I feel like. So
or
like, I was always
so is the mental.
Oh, I got the
strength.
mental thing,
That's
I'm just
the whole
saying.
point.
But like, I would much rather sit there and run sprints back and forth, like working on explosive work, getting the same type of conditioning in. Like, I mean,
I
we used to
agree with
run
that.
sprints till we threw up, which was totally fine. But at least it's like beneficial working on explosiveness. For me, like running miles, I was just like, what the heck are we even doing? Like, I'm never gonna have to go run 5 miles for a baseball game. So it's like it wasn't beneficial. I get it, and like that was like kind of the old school philosophy, is like running to get you in shape and then keep your endurance up for the game. But I never understood it, and I was never a big fan of running. I always did it, and it was never fun. But I always thought there were more beneficial ways to go about it.
Well, I think the way Johnson did it was, I mean, it was
I got just
it was borderline psychotic. What
I know
we
where
did.
this is going.
Oh,
This
I
is
know
the,
this
the,
is-
the first day Coach Johnson got to campus.
I'm literally just thinking of it when
Did my one end up on the table?
whenever we did. No,
You were
went
on the floor.
I was
Well,
on
I
the
woke
table.
up on the table.
So Coach Johnson.
I woke up on the
I
table.
think it was the day we did the circus. I don't think it was.
No, it was first day.
No, it was the
was
first day
first
of
day.
fall. It was
First
when
day.
he was hugging the trash can.
Yeah. So
Couldn't see.
Coach
They're falling in
Johnson,
love with the walls.
You gotta
blacked-
listen to this. This
I
is
blacked
funny.
out.
Wes Johnson's he's now the head coach for the Georgia Bulldogs, but he was the pitching coach whenever all 3 of us were there, and he came in right after Jordan, and then he brought in like this new age philosophy of weighted balls, med balls, hurdle jumps, plate pushes,
Like box step ups,
Box step ups,
like,
sleds.
You're good.
sleds.
It was awesome. I loved it because you would do an entire full workout and then do an entire weighted ball program before you even picked up a baseball. So like your body was like, you were so loose and so ready to go. But the first day, and we all died. But you're pushing sleds. You're doing 50 hurdles, step ups with 25s to 45s.
Dude, the treadmill was the worst.
No, the treadmill. You sit there and keep climbing that incline
Yeah.
up till you're running like this.
Well, anyways, we get done with this first workout. We're all dead. Guys are throwing up. I'm not even sure you made it through. But
I did not finish it. I know that. I got to the very end.
I go in the
but-
training room, and I'm sitting there on the training table getting my arm worked on with Corey, and you just look over. There's a trash can in the corner, and Blaine's curled up around the trash can
in the training
in
room.
the training room. And I just remember DVH walks into the training room. He just looks down the corner. He goes, and just walked out. And Blaine's literally just like asleep, just curled up on the
Well,
trash
here's the thing:
can.
the training room was across the concourse from where the actual workout took place. How did you get across?
I don't know. I don't. So the last thing.
How did you get from there to across the concourse?
So the last
back-
thing I remember is.
Oh my Lord!
So remember we had to push high on like on the bar on the way down and the PDC, and on the way back you had to push on the bottom rail. And I remember I did like 3 sets of it. In that last set, I remember getting to the finish line because Johnson's sitting there screaming at me the whole time to get it through there. And I remember that, and that's all I remember. The next thing I know, Corey's got me in the training room, and
They got Blaine in the wheelbarrow pushing him across the concourse.
I don't know how I got to the training room. I don't know who took me. I don't know what happened. I just remember blacking out, and then I woke up and I was in the training room hugging a trash
It's a
can.
good place to wake up if you have to.
Hey,
If you have to black out, it's nice to wake up in basically the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, it was the coldest floor in the building too. It's all
That's the
tile. You're
truth.
just laying on it.
Trying to get that body temp down.
That was. I love that. Like that type of working out stuff. I know like everyone else got better, but like it was a straight up ass kick in the first week. And I remember like you couldn't even freaking walk or move until you.
well, we
kinda
had
got
weights
into
on
it.
top of
I was
that with
about to say,
Kinsley.
like
After
dude,
that, we had to
had
go.
weights
We
on
had to go
top
to
of
weights.
that. Yeah,
Like-
I mean, you would get a full workout in with Wes, and then turn around, go through a full practice, whether it was inter squad, whatever, and then we'd go straight into Kinsley, and then he would kill us in there.
It was Mike for the first year.
First year, yeah, and then it was that's right. Kinsley
my last year.
Kinsley was my first, my last year. That's right.
And I think, dude, like when we go back and tell all these stories to people that have never played college athletics, that just see like the game day, what you bring out on game, they don't see all this stuff that we're talking about. Like it's a full blown job.
That's
like
6 or 7 months before the season even starts.
I always felt like the fall at Arkansas was like going through a real season.
No
I
doubt.
felt like
Sure.
just for the pure amount of work, and then just because you're playing 9-inning scrimmages.
You're playing a weekend series.
Yeah,
every weekend.
We would scrimmage almost every day. I felt like, but like you'd do 9-inning games like on the weekends, and then you have 50-something dudes there. They bring in plenty of guys to come in there and just fill innings, and so like you go through an entire season pretty much in the fall, and like that's how I always felt. I remember just coming home for Christmas, you're just like depleted. You know, you're just dead there, and then I think that was just kind of their game plan. It was like kill you. Put all this work in. Then whenever you go home to rest, finally, that's when you kind of build up everything, and then you come back for the season. You're kind of ready to go. But
touch up on some things, keep it moving. I graduated like what was it, 2016, 17, something like that.
Yeah, it was 17 for
You
I
were
think
17.
both of us because we
I was 17.
redshirted.
You were 17.
Yeah, we redshirted.
Okay, so the year after was the year y'all went to the Natty.
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of not talk about some of that, but that year you were what, 14-0?
Yeah, 14.
You're the only
14-0.
undefeated pitcher
Yeah,
in the
that's
SEC
history.
or in the country, or what was it?
I was the only one in the country at that point that hadn't lost a game to be in with the amount of starts qualified.
And you started twice in Omaha.
Started twice
and
in
won
Omaha.
both of them.
Won both of them, and I set the single season record at Arkansas. That year.
For wins?
Yeah, for wins.
What was the hardest lineup you faced that year, other than Oregon State? Because Oregon State was in the that's who y'all played in the
finals.
championship.
But
But
they ended up winning. They
far-
had that Rutschman. Was that year?
Oregon State was low.
well,
they
all,
had.
and here's the thing: they all got drafted with you, and you played with them.
Yeah, I played with a bunch of them. Yeah.
But as far as like an SEC lineup, or like out of those 14 wins, like what was the hardest matchup you had? If you can
Honestly,
remember.
Mississippi State was I don't know if it was hot. They were hot when we played them. I just remember when we were down in Starkville. I remember that was a tough lineup. Florida is always a tough lineup.
because you pitched against Florida in the World Series, didn't you?
No, I threw against Florida in Gainesville, and I threw against them again at SEC tournament.
So who'd y'all
Campbell threw against them in
who'd y'all beat
Omaha.
who'd you beat the first game in Omaha? Was it
Texas.
Yeah, or Texas.
It was
That's right,
Texas.
because that's when they had Cody Clemens.
Yeah,
in
Cody
them.
Clemens was
And
running his mouth a little
Kerstead,
bit.
absolutely planted his ass at first base. I remember that.
Yep.
As far as the season goes, like, was there anything that stuck out that like about the team that you were just like, yeah, this team is like, we're going?
Man,
like,
it was just like every time we were down, like any time we always had a guy that turned something around. Like it was never like we'd get down, like pitchers give up runs, whatever, and then it's like the next time our lineup came back up, it was we
found a way.
we found a way to get right back in it again. It was like it never happened, like not happened. It was just, and about midway through, you just kind of realize we're like, well, if we can just play like we're supposed to play, like we got a chance. I mean, because nobody was going to touch our pitching staff for the most part. I mean, you had Fletcher, Heston, Casey Martin at that point. I mean, Shaddy, Eric Cole. I mean, we had a stacked lineup, and it was just as long as they did, like if everybody did their job, we had a chance.
Yeah, I remember in 2015, our turning point. Were you on the 2015 team?
No, I was there in the fall.
Okay, so in 2015, like when we went, the turning point for us was at Texas A&M. We were getting clapped on a Friday night. In the 4th or 5th inning, like we were down like 5-0. Freaking thunderstorm blows into College Station, rains us out. We go to the locker room for 2 hours after that, and they were like, we're going to have to make the game up tomorrow. Pick it up in the 4th inning. Forgot what it was. We had a guy on second, third. We come back the next day, and it was like 4-0 or 5-0. We came back in 1 inning, scored all 5 runs, won the game, won the next game, won the series, and won the rest of our SEC series the rest of the year, and went to the World Series.
Yeah.
But it was like that rain delay was like the turning point. That was also the year that Teague did a little something special in the dugout.
Yeah, I've heard all about that one.
You weren't there, though. For
I've
that
heard about it though. I was there for the rabbit foot incident.
Rabbit foot incident. We'll deal with that later. But there was like a couple different turning points. But like as far as like the season goes for y'all, when y'all made that World Series run, national championship, was there a turning point in the season, or did y'all just mow through everybody pretty much the whole year?
Man, I wouldn't say there was really just like a turning point. I mean, they were tough series. I mean, on the road, I feel like we played better on the road than we did at home. But I mean, it was just we were always in it. Like there was never like one specific game that we just like turned a corner on and then we were like, oh yeah, we got it. Like from when we started in the beginning, it was pretty solid all the way through.
Yeah,
all the way until the last.
It's crazy
game.
because like looking back, because I got to watch Josh and them go, and like it was y'all's team. Like y'all weren't like a bunch of like dudes. Y'all had Andrew Benintendi on the team, but like other than that, there wasn't like a bunch of superstars. And y'all just like got hot at the right time. That's what like college baseball is all about. Like especially for like the postseason, you get hot at the right time.
For sure.
Like these teams just start mowing through people.
Yeah.
And then
Well, I always feel like there's the last couple bottom seeds that make it to Omaha, or like somebody you haven't heard
Yeah.
about all
Yeah.
year that just
NC
like
State.
they just get
yeah,
hot.
they just like
get hot.
snuck into a regional, got hot,
Yeah.
won the super, and
sure.
here they
And-
are.
And then like on the counters, like Blaine, that team y'all went to that lost the national championship was like probably the most talented Arkansas baseball team ever.
I'd agree.
Just with like, I mean, you got to think about the guys. Like we just mentioned some dudes. We didn't mention like Matt Cronin, Kevin Copps, Grant
Yeah.
Cook, like
guys that
all
just
those
got
dudes.
drafted in the top 5, 6,
Top
7
5.
rounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
like-
definitely top 10.
absolute
10.
dudes on that team. And then even the team the next year, whenever Ezell came
Yep.
in, and then Campbell was tearing it up.
Mhm.
Like, dude, those two Arkansas teams were nasty. They had a bunch of freaking dudes on there.
Without going into too much detail, like give us some of the emotions that went through on that national championship game. Because I mean,
Which one? The last one?
the second one,
The heartbreaker.
Yeah, the heartbreaker.
because like I mean, if you ever been to TD Ameritrade, you know it's a big stadium.
Yeah.
Tons of people. Like the emotions are high no matter even you could be playing freaking the trash can.
Yeah.
And the emotions will be high.
No,
But
for sure.
You're in the national championship game. You won the first game. You just got to win one more.
Yeah, I mean we had that second game. I mean, I thought we had it for sure. I knew we were a little low on pitching. I mean, because we had used some guys that, we really didn't need to use. Cronin, I know he threw that game, but I mean, he was gassed.
Yeah.
I mean, we had used him a lot, especially there as of late. And I mean, TD Ameritrade it's a big park. DVH gave us that same spill every year in the fall, and game one, me and Shaddy collided at first on a ball in the infield. I was going over to cover, and it was so loud you can't hear. And me and him ran into each other at first. And so, I mean, I think there was a miscommunication between him, Gates, and Eric. And it's a big park. The foul territory is bigger than any foul territory you're going to play in a regular SEC series.
The ball goes like halfway over the stands, and there's like a wind tunnel, and it comes back.
It comes back, and it's just, I mean, it sucks the way it turned out. But, I mean, they hit it. They literally could not have hit it in a more perfect
You can't.
spot
Yeah,
for it to
that's the
drop.
thing. It's like in baseball, like that is the hardest play to make in baseball.
For sure.
Doesn't matter like what position you're playing, but like that was literally just like the perfect storm of just like for that to happen, and then just like what happened after that with the home run or after the ground ball through the 6 hole and then the home run, like that's just baseball.
I mean, as
Yeah.
soon as that ball hits
you
the
can't-
ground, I knew like I was actually in Destin.
you just know.
I knew that they were going to
you
win the
know.
game.
No, yeah, and I mean it was obviously you don't want to give that vibe in the dugout, but I mean it was. I mean
If you played
everything got
baseball
sucked
long
out.
enough, you just know like when you
Yeah.
miss. Not that that's a routine play, but when you miss a play that you should have made, it always comes back
Every
to bite you.
time.
Every single
Especially
time.
in that situation. It's just like when one thing happens, it snowballs, and before you know it, you look up and you've lost, and you're back playing the second day, and you have there's no gas in the tank. It's like you know that you still have the same chance of winning as they do, but it's like we just emptied the tank thinking we were going to win.
Yeah.
We were 1 out away,
That was, I mean, that was it.
and then now we're back for what y'all play like a mid-afternoon game or something the next day.
I remember the guy. It was Kevin Abel.
Yeah, he shut us
That
out.
absolutely nothing special. He's like 88, 90 with just a filthy changeup.
But he's feeding off of that momentum from
That's
the night
not
before.
saying like it doesn't matter. Like in baseball, like when you get momentum swings like that, it's like I feel like that it's bigger than any sport. Just like how quick it can turn and just flip around, and then just you're just on the bad side.
It was
real
crazy to see
quick.
how the momentum shifted because like game one, we both went into it and it was just back and forth the whole game. I mean, it was a grind. I mean, that was the hardest game I've ever had to pitch in my life. And then we won that game, and then that second game, like, you could tell they could never really get anything going until that ball dropped. And it's like 9 times out of 10, I'll take Cronin over Grenier and Gretler in that situation with his fastball that he had that year. But given the situation and where it was, I mean, it's just that's a no-win situation, unfortunately, and it's just
happens.
I mean, it's just like I said, they couldn't have hit it in a better
just
spot.
a kick in the bag.
Dude, it
it's
sucked.
just a gut-wrenching feeling. And I don't know. I know, like, it hurt y'all, but just, like, as an Arkansas, just baseball fan in general, or, like, playing for the program, like, dude, it was gut-wrenching just watching it.
No, go back.
I couldn't imagine being a part of it. Like, I've watched it on my computer, like, 2 weeks ago, and I literally just looked away whenever it happened.
Dude, go back and watch after they, like, they pan over to me in the dugout because Johnson had me charting, and I just have this, like, this blank just look on my face. It's like,
Just pale.
I didn't know what to do. It was just like, because I mean, it went up and everybody's excitement got up to here.
Get ready to jump the rail.
Because I mean, we got 3 of our better players on that side of the field. I mean, Eric makes plays all the time. Gates makes plays all the time. Shaddy makes stupid plays all the time. And it's just like, we were like, that's it. This is it. It's done.
Dude, that's the thing. Like that.
And then it just hits.
You don't
and
even
we're
mention like we didn't even mention like Jared Gates. Who was it? Biggers, the shortstop. Then
Biggers, the shortstop.
Beast.
I mean,
it was.
I'll say this though: every Thursday before weekend series, we practiced that freaking
play. Yep.
Like, Goodie would sit there with the machine and shoot it up in the air on the right side and the left side, and we'd make it 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
that's the way it goes out.
I mean, you give it the scenario it was in, and like I said, the foul territory there is
huge.
Stupid.
It's massive.
I mean, it's dumb. Like, Bomb's got big foul territory ground, but like nothing like that.
Yeah, but like what you said, that's kind of what I was going to get into. Is baseball is also different than any other sport because all football fields are the same, all basketball courts same dimension, but baseball, on Thursdays you got to get out there and see how the wind blows. It blows different. The ball plays different. There's bigger foul territory. The outfield wall may do something if the ball kicks.
For sure.
It's just different. And you practice that stuff Thursday. But when it's game time and you're about to win the Natty, it's a little bit different.
It's like football and basketball. Like, out of bounds is unplayable.
Right.
But baseball is
totally playable.
Totally playable. And so, I mean, it sucks that it went out that way. I mean, I felt terrible for DVH.
Yeah, me
because
too.
of just he needs one. And just the way, I don't know. I watched that video back and they pan over to the dugout and I'm just like,
they pan over and you see Johnson grabbing DVH and then it falls and he lets him go and it's just like shit.
Oh man.
Talk to us a little bit after that. Like, obviously, move this cord, Josh. You're choking me out. The year before that, I remember when Josh got drafted, we were all at our parents' house, and then we're all like sitting at the pool. I think we were planning on playing golf, but Blaine, you were a sophomore then, but draft eligible sophomore, and Josh was a senior, and Josh didn't know if he was getting drafted. And then I remember it's like what'd you get, 28th round? Rangers or whoever it was.
Yes, 26.
Blaine's just getting a courtesy draft over here just for fun, and
dude. It was this is the shit thing about baseball, and I hate you, Blaine. But we're over there hitting golf balls off the back porch, and we got the draft going on over the speakers, and it's like Texas Rangers. It's like Rangers select Blaine Knight,
just for
pitcher,
fun.
University of Arkansas. And Blaine's like, what the hell? Like, I'm just like, what? He just got drafted. But I remember that, and then obviously
12 rounds
later comes Josh to the Marlins. But it was so cool, and then obviously you were a top prospect going into that next draft. Like, what were the talks like in the first day and kind of going on? Because I remember I was texting you back and forth a little bit, and you were like, talk to a bunch of teams, numbers aren't right or whatever. But like, just to talk us through that process when you have the potential to be like a top 5 round or something like that.
Yeah, it was the first day. I mean, you never know when the first pick goes off the board, stuff changes. Like, the teams can tell you whatever they want day one. Like, I was considered supposed to be a day one pick, and as soon as first pick goes off the board, it just scatters everybody. And so then it just, once again, I think my size got me. Even though, I mean, I put up 3 years in the SEC on the weekends showing I could handle that kind of stuff. It's just it goes to
coming off a 14-0 year.
Yeah, I showed them everything I needed to show them. It's just I just started just to fall down the board, and it was, it was what it was. We got to day 2, and Baltimore picked me at pick 87 without calling me. And it was, so that was kind of madness.
Oh, so you weren't notified before?
No, so we had something lined up with Cincinnati right after them. And so Baltimore called me with the comp pick at the end of the first round that they gave to Caden Grenier, who was a shortstop at Oregon State. Asked me a bunch of questions. I was like, yeah, I'm in. Good. And watched the TV. Caden Grenier gets it. And so then we're like, all right, whatever. And so keep pushing, and then we get to third round. I'm still there, and so they just went for it. And, didn't call me, didn't call my agent, didn't call anybody until after the fact. And it was just like, dude,
cool. See you in Baltimore.
I also remember because after you got drafted, I remember I was on vacation up in Michigan with my wife, and I was falling because it came down to the last hour of the signing deadline, and that's when you finally signed. Once you kind of got everything straightened out. But usually a team will call and agree on something, right? They'll agree on a number or something like that, and then they'll pick you. And that didn't happen.
No, it was they picked me just because they looked up and I was still on the board, and it was because Singer had already gone before me, Rollison, Pilkington, Jelly, all the other SEC guys I beat all year long had already gone ahead of me, and it was just they just picked me, and then that's what took so long getting to the end, because it was if they weren't going to pay me what I was worth, I wasn't going.
Yeah.
And I was going to go back to Arkansas. it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a big a deal. I just wanted what I was worth.
Yeah.
And that's what took so long, down to literally the last hour of the sign-up deadline.
That's what's also just so different with baseball is you can get drafted after high school, or you can get drafted after 3 years, or if you're
21 if you're 21 before the draft, once you're in college,
we can go the junior college route.
You can go JUCO and get drafted at any time. You can go.
Thought JUCO was sophomore year.
Maybe NAIA.
You can do it any year.
And no, everything else is 3 years or the 21-year-old rule. But
I think JUCO is the only exception to that.
It's really the only sport where you have a ton of leverage, because if you do the NFL draft or the NBA draft, you have to declare to the draft and get an agent before you don't have the option to come back to school. So it's baseball is it's really, and I feel like every sport should do that, because there's so many kids that go into the NBA or NFL, they declare for the draft and they end up being a free agent signing, and they would much rather go back to college for another year.
Well, that's what happened in 2017 sophomore year.
That's exactly
I was eligible, and I was high up, but I was texting you that day, is the money never lined up with where it was worth me leaving, because I had the option to still go back and not lose any leverage, and so that's why I chose to go back.
Yeah,
and it paid off.
It did pay off.
It paid off.
It did pay off.
I'd say that's a very good decision.
Got any minor league stories? What's your worst pre or post game meal that you've had? And you got any bus stories?
Well, bus stories. So when I got drafted, they sent me.
No, my watch was going off.
Okay.
Oh, we're good.
All right.
Send her on.
Because we flew private everywhere at Arkansas. We didn't really take a bus. I know my last year at Arkansas we didn't. We normally bused to Ole Miss, and we didn't. We flew. And so I'd been all year private jet, cookies and milk on the plane, just high life. And I get drafted. They send me down to Florida for 2 weeks to get built back up, and I report to Aberdeen, Maryland for short season. And I get there as soon as they finish the homestand, and the first bus trip we get, 16-hour hook. Gone. God. And so I get on the bus, and I'm like, this is I had never had to do this ever, more than going to Little Rock from Fayetteville, and I'm sitting beside a big Dominican. His name was Guance.
Jesus,
and
of course it was.
So and so it was 2-seater. You get your own seat, and you got to just grind it all the way through. And it was. So the minors got better as we went on, because, like I said, last year especially, they got into the union, which was good for them. But I've had my fair share of raw chicken. Have had spread not show up many times, and you're just you're screwed. I've seen guys literally eat, especially the Latins. I've seen the guys because they don't really have any money. They don't have any way to really get that kind of stuff. And
And
like
a post game meal, even if it's peanut butter and bread, is
Oh, yeah.
more than they've ever seen. Sometimes.
like I mean, they will sit there and house some bread in that clubhouse.
we had a guy. He was our first baseman. He was like 6'6", 250. He looks like David Ortiz, freaking huge. After the game, he wouldn't shower, but he would strip butt naked. And he'd be standing there at his locker naked, and they would bring the food out, and he'd walk over there, and he would touch every piece of watermelon until he found the one he wanted, and he would eat it at the table and put it back, the rind back in the bowl.
Oh no!
And then he'd walk down there and make him a peanut butter sandwich, and go sit at his locker butt naked. And I'm like, how are we doing this right now?
Is this a health violation or what?
Man,
No.
I've seen some crazy stuff from them. Like,
Are
so
those crutches?
the same that same road trip, there was another one. Well, I saw him in the hallway, and he went and got a box from downstairs in the lobby, and had all of the sheets off there's a double bed in there. Had all the sheets off the bed, pillowcases, shampoo,
Taking
everything.
it home with him.
He was sending it back home.
Oh my God!
Dude, it's the craziest thing. And then like last year, when I ended AAA, like we got to the locker room one day and it smelled like raw fish, just like dead fish, all in the locker room. We're like, what the hell is going on? And we look over and there's these big blue 55-gallon drum barrels that they just, because I was in Norfolk, which is right there on the water, and they went and bought them from some fisherman over there. And they were going through asking every single one of us for like all of our old clothes, gloves, cleats, bats, everything else. And they loaded all those barrels up full of stuff and shipped them back home. It's
sad.
It is really sad, honestly. Like, it's really sad. But I mean, it's like some stuff that I've seen there's some stuff I can't talk about on here that I've seen, but there's been some wild stuff.
But, I mean, really though, until like the last 4 or 5 years that people have brought to the attention, like guys are underpaid.
Yeah.
Like the minimum wage situation, like the living conditions, the food situation, the money situation. It's almost not even worth playing unless you have a signing bonus.
For sure. I mean, I will never understand how guys that did not sign for a lot made it. I mean, it's because the amount it cost you, like I said, before they started covering your living cost and everything else, I mean, I know guys that were paying $2-3 grand a month for an apartment, and you have to sign a year lease on it. Well, if you go from high A to double A, well, now you got to get another apartment and still pay that one.
Brutal.
And because they won't let you out of it. And it's just like, I don't know how guys did it.
I know.
I really don't.
I've seen a lot of guys that have a chance to make it to the big leagues, like are legit, but can't afford to keep playing.
For sure.
And so they have to quit.
Yeah, for sure.
And go get a job. So it's like, I mean, I don't understand how the minor league or what the major leagues, how much money they make. I mean, I don't know how many minor leaguers there are. What, a couple thousand? I mean, between like the 30 teams or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to think of how many billions of dollars Major League Baseball makes, and they can't.
Oh yeah.
Can't pay guys.
And they shortened the draft up, so there's not as many players coming in every year. There's not as many bonuses going out, and I think that helped the cause.
They've shortened the affiliates up too. There's not as many affiliates now.
So they're getting in a better spot, it sounds like. And
yeah, they are. They're in a much better spot now. Well, they're in a much better spot now than they were when I got in 2018. I can tell you that for sure. Like it's changed a bunch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, where you are now, like, do you trying to go back and play or?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to get back out. I'm gonna get back after it this off season, and I'm gonna try to get back out and
try to get a spring training invite.
Try to get an invite. I think I got a good chance at it. It's just, I mean, I think it did me good. Like I said, me and Baltimore just, I mean, my time just ran out with them. They wanted me to start trying a bunch of new stuff, everything else, and some stuff that I tried it didn't work. They wanted me to stick with, and
it may turn out for the best.
For injury standpoint and everything else, I just didn't feel comfortable doing it, and so we decided to part ways, and which stinks. But like I said, the guys who drafted me in 18 from Baltimore aren't the same guys who are there now. So
that was the same situation I saw.
Yeah, so I mean, I was an inherited piece. I mean, I think the only guys left with Baltimore that were drafted with me is Grayson and
Rutschman.
Rutschman was after me.
He was a year after you.
Yeah,
I think it's just Grayson. I'm pretty sure Grayson's the only one left.
He's not in the big leagues yet.
Yeah, he's in the big leagues.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Grayson Rodriguez. Yeah, pitcher.
He was the guy that we ate with in Memphis.
Yep.
At the Canucks place.
Oh yeah, he's from Nacogdoches, Texas.
Yeah,
he's tearing it up this year too.
Oh, he's having a great year, dude. I'm super happy for him. He's just because, like I said, me and him got drafted together. So I mean, that was my catch partner.
Yeah.
Time we were in Florida all the way through.
It's not the best catch partner to have. It's at 40 feet warming up.
Yeah. Well, he's like I said, he's not bad.
He got a little feel.
Like when he said he's going to throw it somewhere, he's going to throw it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the good thing. I'd rather him throw it 100 and know where he's going with it than 100 and I'm expecting it in my chest instead of my ankles.
You ran into so many guys, like the first practice of the year, or like a freshman that you're playing catch with, or like just like Nick, the first time you get out there, especially with pitchers, some of them just have zero feel on like how to play catch. So you'd go out to 40 feet, and next thing you know, you're catching 90 at your ankles, and it's just it's not fun.
No, that's not.
There's an art
that's
to
not
it.
the most fun
Some
thing
people
to
don't
do.
have that kind of feel.
Me and Ruck sent me a picture before we came here of it was our trip
5 years ago.
5 years
First trip.
ago, and it's we were hunting with a guide that came up to Canada with us named Nate, and he's a better Nate than the one we got right now.
He's great value, Nate. I'm Kroger, Nate.
But he brought his dog up there, and the dog humped everybody.
Oh, my God.
But especially
that.
took a liking to him for some reason.
He's a big fan
There
of
was something
Josh.
about my left leg.
We need to roll that clip in here too.
What was that dog's name?
I don't
Mav.
know. We'll play the
Was it
clip.
Mav?
We're
Yeah.
going to play the clip down here somewhere. But
Yeah.
Ruck sent me a screenshot of like a time hop, and this dog
Oh,
was
that dog's just on him, got his tongue out on his back. I'm like, this is just.
He had a little
this is
Mississippi
gold.
leg hound in him, did he?
He did. Just put best to just let him finish.
Just let him finish.
Well, he put a hole in my pants, and then we proceeded to shoot 8 limits.
Yep.
But Blaine, like, everybody knows Blaine for the baseball stuff, but like, there's this one snow goose feed we had up in Canada, and there was an old man there named Moses, and he was like, look, one of you boys, he's like, I'll give you permission on this snow goose feed if one of you boys goes and dates my daughter.
Yeah.
And so Blaine
No,
stepped
thank you.
up for it.
No,
So
I didn't.
Blaine took her on a date. We left Blaine at the compound, and
No, I'm pretty sure we went and picked up a rack of
Milwaukee's
black
best,
ice and said, here you go, buddy.
I made that up.
Blaine and Mary took a ride in the wagon off into the
Well, the
sunset.
problem is they thought me and you were brothers.
I know. I said, look, he's the taller one. That's the one you want, not me. You better leave me alone.
Yeah, but there's like, I don't want to say it.
The Hutterites?
Yeah, there's millions of acres up there you can get permission
Oh,
on.
it's
and,
crazy.
Like we were swapping beer for this guy for permission. And
Literally, it was a 30 rack of black ice.
And Rucker was swapping services for
and, yeah.
What? God, I can't even think. I'm trying to think of. I know they're called the Hutterites, but they're like
the Amish.
the Amish. That's
But
what
they
I'm going
can
for.
they
Like,
can drive trucks and use some machinery. I don't know if we want to tell what else they do.
Oh,
No,
yeah, I
we're-
don't think so.
we probably shouldn't go into that.
I think like for like religion purposes, like let's just
Yeah,
chill.
let's not do
just-
that. But
yeah.
they're like Amish. I never heard of a Hutterite, and I thought
Me either.
I thought they were messing with me when they were telling me about it. And then we actually went out there. It's the craziest thing. You drive, I don't know, miles on miles. You feel like you're about
from
to
any
fall
type
off
of
the end of the
civilization.
We were
Earth.
45 minutes from town.
And
Easy.
There's literally these compounds, like gated compounds with houses and farms and farm equipment. And they're these people called Hutterites that live out there and
It's
just
kinda
live
like-
off the land. And
Like an apartment complex, but like trailers and
Yeah.
like cargo crates, and they
Yeah.
just make them into houses, and it's like a compound, and they all just live out there and live off the
it
land.
was a
and-
crazy. My mind was blown whenever they told me that. And we actually went out there and saw it.
We were so
Yeah.
far, like the nearest town was like Wainwright, maybe, and
Maybe.
we were an hour
Yeah,
from there.
easy.
I'm telling you, that place is so freaking cool. Like whenever we went to the railroad track, you literally feel like you're about to
Oh,
just,
that train
just-
bridge.
just drive off the
I
end of the
forgot all
earth at
about
any
that.
We went
point.
to that
You're
train
out
Yeah, I
there,
forgot about that.
and there's this one little train bridge that we just went and walked on one afternoon. It was went
like
over a
built over like a
valley.
valley.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it
you got
was so
pictures
cool.
of that, didn't you?
I got drone pictures.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah, we got
I'm
it.
pretty sure you did.
It was, I mean, like we said last podcast, like we're going up at a different time, and I think we have a chance at some snow maybe.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just like you go up there and worry about nothing but hunting.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, and we're looking forward to it. And we actually just got all of our banded gear in today. Got some bibs, some boots. They've hooked us up. Ben Oak hooked us up. We got some lights. I got to give you all some lights too.
10-4.
But we got some. I mean, we're looking forward to going up there, doing some work with our partners, seeing Kev,
Oh, Kev.
seeing Kev, and
That's Ruck's brother.
that's Ruck's brother. But yeah,
The boy?
I mean, fellas, it's 47 minutes in.
Golly.
You knew this was going to happen.
We
as soon
could
as
do
all
this.
got
We
Did
together.
you lose
talk
track of time
forever.
on these things? I swear. I feel like we've been here 10 minutes. It's like 40.
We
yeah,
got any?
47.
I mean, for the most part, this is our crew going to Canada. Besides, we got Cole and Dustin and Kevin. That'll be our crew. Is there any other things we need to cover?
I don't think so. I think we'll probably do another one of these and talk some more about whatever. I mean, we didn't even talk about like duck hunting here and stuff like that, but plenty of other time for that.
Yeah, and Ruck's got on our new hoodie.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't gotten them, dude, these things fit great. Like we said, man,
it's
I'll
got the
throw
long
this
sleeve
on
shirt.
and a vest, and you're usually good to go.
Yeah, and those are what are they, independent?
But they're like the durable, the
300,
thick, the
yeah.
heavy material.
But
I mean,
they
this thing's
fit
thick,
good.
fits good.
I have our original like Cypress bin one. I think we're out of them right now.
Nate's
But I've
got-
had them for like 3 years, and then we get these are the new comfort color long sleeves. Obviously, all the hats and stuff, t-shirts. Y'all check them out.
Yeah, we'll put the link below. But appreciate y'all watching. I guess the next episode will be up in Canada.
Let's do it.
So
2 weeks from now, north of the border, about, well,
2 weeks from
like
today.
2,000 miles from here, but not 2,000 north of the border.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully, be in hoodies and beanies. So
At least we ain't driving this year, boys.
we
We're
ain't
not
driving.
driving. No more sprints for Blaine.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right. Well, y'all be sure to subscribe to the channel. Got some more podcasts coming. Got Gator episode coming this week. We also got
Maybe a deer.
maybe a deer. We may have a separate podcast about that.
We will.
Nate shot a deer over this past weekend and
It's a crazy story.
He's walking around with a hole in him right now.
we thought he died for 2 days. Have I even told you about
I don't
this?
think you told me about this.
He's been walking around for 2 days,
with a hole in
With
it.
a hole in him.
and he just showed back up on camera yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. Those
So
they're tough as hell.
hopefully Nate
So-
can kill him the next week or so, and we'll have a new episode for that. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
See ya.
We made something out of it in this sport. As soon as we get done hunting, the wind picks up. We had no wind all morning. Struggled with oh boy. You ain't taking daddy down. Battle conditions all day long.